Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about pride as discussed in Letting Go by David Hawkins. His chapter on pride was so amazing and helpful. I think there's a lot of useful information in there that I want to share with you today. Pride is not the vibe, and let me tell you why. I'm trying to rhyme, and I hope that kind of gave off the effect I was going for. So I will clearly start my rap career really soon. I'll keep you all posted. Pride is often viewed as a good thing, not necessarily something that is bad per se. However, on the scale of emotions, pride is considered a negative and repelling emotion. Pride may take the form of overvaluation, denial, playing the martyr, being opinionated, arrogant, boastful, inflated, holier than thou, vain, self centered, complacent, aloof, smug, snobbish, prejudiced, bigoted, contemptuous, selfish, unforgiving, spoiled, rigid, judgmental, patronizing, and there's a bit more things in here, but just to get a clear idea of how pride can show up. Pride makes us vulnerable because prideful people are always on the defensive. A prideful person is on the defensive of just about everything, from their job to their clothing to how much money they make, their car, their material objects, overall their lifestyle, including beliefs and opinions. There is endless worry with appearances and the opinion of others when you are coming from a place of pride. Another important thing to consider about pride is that pride fuels the ego. Pride fuels the ego. And let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, ego isn't exactly our friend. Ego, when unchecked, causes a lot of harm. It causes a whole lot of problems in our life when we let our ego operate where we are coming from, when we let ego dictate how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about others. Ego has never really been prescribed as a solution to anything, right? It's always like release ego, let ego go. Ego is so many people's downfall. A contrast to a prideful person is a humble person. The humble person cannot be humiliated because there is a true inner sense of security. There is also genuine self-esteem, and a humble person is not coming from a place of pride. A humble person has released pride, period. Releasing pride leads to true inner security. With true self-esteem, we have an inner awareness of our worth and value. We have nothing to prove. It is not up for debate because we know this to be true within ourselves. Having pride in our thoughts, beliefs, and opinions makes us vulnerable to endless conflict and arguments. Dr. Hawkins says that instead of coming from a place of pride, the solution is to come from a place of love, come from a place of gratitude, because love is definitely a high vibration, positive emotion, very different from the emotion of pride, which, as we know, is negative and repelling. In a state of love, there is a lack of defensiveness. You don't have to prove anything about why you love what you love. You're no longer having to prove anything about your opinion, your thoughts, or beliefs. It's much more positive. Pride infers that something is up to question. And because of that, pride will definitely be a weakness in our life. It's never going to truly benefit us in any way. It's important to acknowledge Any pride that we feel about anything in our life, any thoughts or beliefs we have, we need to bring awareness to that without judgment and let the emotion go. Let it go over time. It will only benefit you. And when you release those feelings of pride, you can substitute them for love, substitute them for gratitude, which is so much more beneficial and powerful. It's a high vibration, loving, attractive emotion and state of mind. The smaller we feel, the more we have to compensate for those feelings of inadequacy and unimportance with pride. In fact, pride will lead to more arguments, and that's no fun. It is not what we have that matters, but how we hold it in our consciousness. How do we think about the things in our life? That makes all the difference. Do we come from a prideful place, or do we come from a place of love and gratitude? Like Dr. Hawkins says, when you are coming from a place of pride, you are inviting attack, and it just shows that you don't have a genuine self-worth or genuine self-value. You're essentially coming from a very small place if you're always just quick to get on the defensive and attack others for their perspectives, their views, rather than just listening to someone and holding that space for them and hearing them without judgment. I think that is so important. Our value and our self-worth is innate. It is intrinsic to us all. We don't have to do anything or acquire anything or believe a particular thing in order to really be valuable as a person and to know we are worth it and good enough. So if you're looking at the external as a way to show your worthiness or value, you need to look within yourself and gain that high self-esteem, get that inner security, and stop looking at it on the outside, in the external. When you have genuine inner security, irrespective of the things you have in your life, your opinions and beliefs, then everything else, when you're coming from a place of inner security, it is just the cherry on top to already having a solid foundation and inner security. It's just added blessings, added things, added benefits. It's an inside out approach versus outside in to prove your worthiness. Because if we already know we are whole, we are complete, then we don't need pride. Now, if you've ever felt pride in your life, don't feel bad about it. I go back to we've all been there, and we're not really taught about our emotions. Honestly, I feel like I'm going back to the ABCs of being a human. It's like we're not taught this. I think in our education system, we are focused clearly, like there's an academic focus, but when it comes to learning how to be a good, decent, whole human being, I mean, there's an element of that in school, of course, like basic morals and ethics, but there is so much more, and the more we know, the more we can help ourselves. And I really believe that the more that we understand our emotions, positive and negative, the more we can help ourselves to live a life that is so much more fulfilling. It is important to understand the positive, but it is also equally important to understand the negative emotions in our life so that we can release them and move on to higher, more empowering emotions and therefore thoughts, therefore beliefs. We are essentially creating a new version of ourselves. I would argue it's a truer version of ourselves, but along the way, when it comes to life, we essentially take on other people's negative beliefs or limitations, and we are programmed. So it kind of sucks, but as adults, we can take responsibility and start to consciously live a life that is in alignment to who we truly are and who we're truly meant to be. So part of this process is breaking down what is no longer serving us. And I think starting on an emotional level is very, very helpful because, like Dr. Hawkins says, if we are looking for breaking down thoughts, that's powerful too. Imagine reprogramming thousands and thousands of thoughts. That's going to take a lot of time, honestly. Not to say it can't be done, but if we look at our emotions will have hundreds or thousands of thoughts attached to them, attached to our experiences, what we've gone through in life. And so it's a much more empowering way. This is a much more efficient approach than coming at it from thoughts exclusively. It is so important to have awareness and knowledge of ourselves, not simply other people, other subjects, other things in the world. Knowing thyself is so incredibly powerful, and that is ultimately the aim of these videos, is to bring up these topics in order to gain awareness and self-mastery that can benefit us and help us to become better humans while we are here on planet Earth. I hope this video was helpful on some level today, and I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy learning about personal growth and with a mix of psychology and spirituality, then please subscribe. I would so appreciate it.